everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Tonight I'm going to be covering the case of the Moscow, Idaho murders. So I'm just going to get into it, and I'll show you just a photo of the four victims here. Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogen, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. They're the four university students in Moscow, Idaho. And I'll get into what happened. All right. In the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, four University of Idaho students, Madison Mogen, Kaylee Gonsalves, Ethan Chapin, and Xana Kernodle, were fatally stabbed in an off-campus house in Moscow, Idaho. On December 30th, authorities arrested 28-year-old Brian Christopher Kohberger in Pennsylvania on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of felony burglary. At the time of the murders, Kohberger was a PhD student completing his first semester at Washington State University, located less than 8 miles west of Moscow. Prosecutors initially sought the death penalty, but on July 2nd, 2025, Kohberger entered a guilty plea to all charges against him as part of a deal to avoid the death penalty. Unfortunately, too, with that, he never said why he did it. He just admitted guilt to killing these poor, beautiful, innocent people. So just to get into the story a little bit, if you haven't seen any documentaries or news articles, there is a Netflix documentary out right now about it, but I'll brief you on what happened. So the night of November 13th, 2022, all 5 roommates were in the house by 2 a.m. They had been out returning from an on-campus party, and Mogen and Gonsalves had gone to a downtown sports bar called Corner Club, and then they stopped at a food truck. They made it home, and then detectives believe that all 4 murders occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. Due to Xana appearing to have been awake as she had received a DoorDash order at around 4 a.m. and she was also using TikTok on her phone. Her surviving roommate, Dylan Mortensen, who's asleep in her bedroom on the 2nd floor, told investigators she was awakened by a noise on the 3rd floor that she initially thought was Gonsalves and her pet. She stated she later heard someone saying something to the effect of, "There's somebody here." Mortensen believed this was Gonsalves, although investigators believe it may have been Kernodle. Mortensen looked out her door but did not see anything. She stated that she heard what sounded like crying from Xana's room. She opened her door again and heard an unfamiliar male voice say, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Security cameras near the house picked up the sound of whimpering, a loud thud, and a dog barking numerous times, starting around 4:17 a.m. Mortensen opened her door a 3rd time and saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered his mouth and nose walking toward her. The man whom Mortensen stated she did not recognize walked past her and exited through a sliding glass door in the kitchen. She was in complete shock, and she did not immediately call 911. She ran into her other roommate's room, which her name is Bethany Funk. So they both hid out in her room until later that morning when they called police. All 4 victims were pronounced dead at the home that afternoon. And it was just a horrible scene to happen. Nobody knows why Brian Kohberger did this. because, like mentioned, he took a guilty plea, but in his plea deal, he did not have to say why, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. I think if you're going to admit guilt, part of that deal should be telling those poor families why you did that. So I think I just cannot even wrap my head around why that was not part of the deal. But anyway, I'm going to ask the cards tonight because I think a lot of people, including myself, would love to know this and just get some answers. So my first question is going to be, why did Brian Kohberger choose this house and these kids, Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan, to murder them? Why did he choose them? Why did he choose them? Wow. Okay, so I got the World card. Immediately when I see this, because I'm asking why did he choose them, I see it in the image. It's like these people have the world. They're happy. They're dancing. They have love. Apparently Xana and Ethan were just like two peas in a pod, just so in love. Like, I feel like he chose them because they had the life and the happiness that he didn't. And I'm just going by the literal wording of this card. I'm going by the imagery of this card. That's just how I see it, and that's how I see it immediately, that's why he chose them. And at the bottom of the deck, I have the Four of Coins. Now, to me, reading the Four of Coins with this is like, to me, an obsession or a fixation. You can see the way this bird is holding on to this girl. I don't know if maybe he had a fixation on one of them specifically. I know there's been speculation that one of these girls was the intended victim, but I see it as like some kind of obsession, almost like no one can have you if I can't have you kind of thing. All right, so I'm gonna dig a little deeper into this, and I'm going to ask the cards, did Brian Kohberger ever meet one of these victims? Did Brian Kohberger ever meet Kaylee, Madison, Xana, or Ethan before he murdered them? Let one card fall out or pop out to describe in the imagery or the card itself. Also, if it's a very positive card, I'll take that as a yes, he had met one of them before he murdered them. Did Brian Kohberger ever meet Kaylee, Madison, Xana, or Ethan before he murdered them in their home? One card, let it fall out. The Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands. So I would see this as a yes because of the fast-paced like action. This card is like passionate. I see this as, I do see this as like a positive card, but I see it as like almost like it's weird because it's like almost like seeing a target and going at it. That's what I think of this card just by looking at it based on the question I'm asking. And then at the bottom, it's the Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups can also be new energy. But the way I'm reading it right now, it makes me feel that this was somebody one of them that he had seen before. It is a newer energy, so I don't think he'd been around them. Like, I don't think he'd been around them multiple times. I think he had spotted maybe one of them, but it's definitely like an action card. So, and they're both very positive. So I take it as yes, he had seen one of them before. But again, I don't think it's like, oh, they've been hanging out a bunch of times or anything like that. I think it was like he spotted it. It was something new and he went for it. Because this card is quite also, if you look at it closely, the girl looks quite evil. And it's quite like a passionate card as well. So yeah, I do think that he saw one of them. And I think for whatever reason, he chose that house that night. Just going to ask another card. Just going to ask if there was one of them specifically being the intended victim. Did Brian Kohberger go into their home that night planning to kill 4 people, or was there just one person that he was targeting? Let one card fall out to let me know. Was he going in there to target just one specific person and ran into multiple people? Was the target just one person? Let one card fall out. Interesting. Interesting. The 8 of Wands. I'm reading this as like he went in guns a-blazing here. I don't know if he even, excuse my language, but gave a shit about who was gonna be in there. It's like a raven, or a raven flying in the dark at night, just going in, fire blazing, kind of like the Knight of Wands here. Just like, look, like they're just going straight in at it. So I truly think he didn't give anything. He didn't care who is gonna be in there. I'm just gonna look at the bottom of the deck just to see. Yeah, here's the Page of Cups here. The Page of Cups and then the 8 of Wands, which can be kind of an immature energy as well. Also too, I believe they think this was his first crime ever committed. So he could have gone in there. I feel like he had been wanting to do this for a long time to just someone. And it was a immature, like not, like even though it was thought through, because this was his first time doing it, it was just like guns a-blazing. I'm coming in, whoever's there is gonna get my wrath. Okay. Interesting. I don't know what else to ask here because I feel like this is quite self-explanatory, but it doesn't really answer, like it kind of does answer, I guess, that it was like, I feel like it had to have been one specific person, but maybe he did just see one of them out, followed them to their home at one point, targeted that house. Yeah, that's honestly what I'm feeling and getting from this. I'm just going to ask for one more card just to clarify the question of why did Brian Kohberger target Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan? Why did he target that specific house? Let's get one more card to clarify. Why did he target that house specifically? Why did Brian Kohberger target that house specifically? one card, let it fall out. Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords. Why did he target this house specifically? Crazy enough, there's a house there and there's this guy just riding towards it. You know, for me, a lot of the time swords is like communication as well. And I believe there was some speculation that he had maybe looked them up online. I wonder if where he first saw them was online. I know their house was quite known as well to be kind of like more of a, like, I don't want to call it a party house because I don't know if that's specifically the right wording, but you know, I think they held a lot of get-togethers there. I wonder if he had heard about it from online or saw their videos online, and that's why he chose them. I'm just gonna look at what the bottom card says, and then it's the Tower. Unless it's like, I don't know, this is like weird because swords to me, usually when I see it, it's some kind of communication, which means also it could be communication online. Could be someone that he saw online, maybe he saw the house online, or he was quite literally driving by the house. As you can see, there's a house in this image, and chose it. Because this is the underlying energy of the house. He literally caused that mayhem of this house, which is under the deck. So I feel like if it wasn't that he had seen them online, that he quite literally, he like would have physically probably driven by the house and maybe saw people partying outside or something like that, and he chose that house. That's what I'm getting from this. All right, I'm going to end the reading there for tonight. I feel like this answered some of the questions I had. Again, I truly hope that they get the complete justice that they get. Again, I believe that they truly, their families deserve to know why he did it, but you know, psychopaths and people with those types of problems are probably rarely ever going to share it, because it probably gives him that power. But I truly hope that these four beautiful people, Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapman, and their families get the true justice that they deserve. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining me tonight, and I will see you again for the next case that I cover. All right, good night.